Hi, everybody. This is my second video for Algebra 2 rational expression practice. So for this one, we're going to do under 2 and under 3. The first one we're going to solve and check for extraneous solutions. Extraneous solutions are just solutions that when you solve your equation, um, you can get some solutions that will not make the equation true, okay? Because they're either square rooted or there's something that's going to throw it off. So we always have to plug the solutions back in and check, okay? And the one that's our extraneous solution is the solution that makes our equation false. All right, so for this one, I'm going to do C. Again, if you want to see me do A, B, and D, put in the comments below, or I can sit there and put or send you exactly my work of step-by-step how I did it. All right, so let's start with C. For this one, we want to solve and check for extraneous solutions. So we have two rational expressions. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by the least common multiple. But first, I can sit there and factor this down. This is a difference of squares. So when I factor that, I'm going to get A plus 1. And I'm also going to get A minus 1. All right, and our least common multiple between all of these is going to be A plus 1 and A minus 1. So that means I'm going to just multiply both sides by A plus 1 and A minus 1, okay, and see what I get. So let's start with this A. For here, I'm going to get A, and that's going to be multiplied by both because in my denominator, I just have 1. I don't have both. I have A plus 1, and then A minus 1. Okay. Sorry, my pen's going a little slow. All right, and then for this portion right here, I do have A plus 1 and A minus 1. And again, I can factor this out because this is also a difference of squares. I can do A plus square root of 5. And then A minus square root of 5. So that's just a difference of squares. And of course, 5 is not a perfect square, so we just put in our square root. All right, and that's going to be plus, and I'm just multiplying it by my least common multiple, but in this case, our denominator does have the least common multiple, so I don't have to sit there and multiply it by that. So I'm just going to put A plus square root of 5 and A minus square root of 5 minus root 5. And then for the second part right here, I can't really factor that out because I can't find two things that multiply together to get me 2, but then at the same time give me a positive 1. So for that one, I'm just going to sit there and write the whole thing out. I'm going to erase this for more room. So I'm going to put plus, and I'll put in parentheses because we're going to be multiplying it by it. A squared plus A plus 2. And again, in my denominator, I have A plus 1. The only one missing from my least common multiple is A minus 1. Because the A plus 1 would cancel out. So A minus 1. My apologies, that's not going to be a plus. That's actually going to be a equal sign. There we go. Looks better. All right, so now I just start simplifying this down. To simplify this down, I'm going to sit there and use FOIL for this. Again, if you use FOIL a different way than I do, that's fine. So I'll do my FOIL up here. I usually take my first term and multiply it by all my second binomial, A minus 1. And then my second term and multiply it by all my second binomial, A minus 1. And then I just distribute it through. So then when I distribute that through, I'll get A squared minus A plus A minus 1. But this turns out to just be a squared minus 1. So I can sit there and write this as, oh, and then I have to multiply this a through it. Because then we got a and a, because these cancel out. A squared minus 1. All right, and just for sake of time, I distribute that through, right? So when I distribute that through, I would get a to the third minus a. Okay, because we multiplied that a through our a squared minus 1. All right, now let's do our other portion. So again, I'm going to use FOIL for this right here. If you FOIL a different way, go ahead and use your way as long as you get the same answer I am getting. So I take my first term, multiply it by all my second binomial, a minus square root of 5. And then I take my second term, which is plus square root of 5, and multiply it by my second binomial. Oops. Plus square root of 5. And multiply it by all my second one. A minus square root of 5. And then just distribute that through. I get a squared minus a square root of 5. Because I'm just distributing, making it hit. And then plus a square root of 5. Square root of 5 times negative square root of 5 is going to give me minus 5. These cancel out. So I get plus a squared minus 5. Awesome. Now I do the other side of my equation. Again, I'm going to FOIL. And usually if you are doing homework, just again, because I have such a small space right here, always show your step-by-step work, okay? Especially when you're taking tests, because that way, if you do make a mistake, you can go back and find your mistake way easier than if you skip steps, right? So let's FOIL this one out. So I have a, my first term, multiplying it by all my second binomial. So a squared plus a plus 2 and then minus 1. I have a squared plus a plus 2. Okay. Then distribute that through. I'm going to get a to the third power plus a squared plus 2a minus a squared, just distributing through, minus, oops, almost made a mistake right there, minus a minus 2. I can cancel out these a squares. I can cancel out those a squares. I can also combine these a's, so that would just be a. And let me write it all out down here. So I'll have a to the third plus a, because I combined it my plus 2a and my minus a, and then minus 2. Okay. A to the third, a minus 2. Yep, that looks good. I'm just double checking before I erase it. Okie dokie. Now I can sit there and combine stuff here. I know if I subtract this a to the third from both sides, that will cancel out. I know if I subtract this a over here, I will get, I'll get minus 2a. Minus 2a. A squared is just all by itself, so I'll put plus a squared. Move this 2 over to the other side. I will get minus 3. That's equal to 0. Let me rewrite this so we can see it in better terms and see if we can factor. I'll get a squared minus 2a minus 3 equals 0. I can factor this. Two numbers that multiply to get me negative 3, but then add together to get 2 is going to be 3 and 1. So a plus 1 and a minus 3. I set these both equal to 0 so I can see my possible solutions. I get a can equal either negative 1 or a can equal 3. Now I have to sit there and check both these solutions to sit there and see and make sure I don't have an extraneous solution. So let's go ahead and plug these back into our original equation. Okay. Again, if you want to write this all down, just pause the video and write it down on your own paper or go back and write down what I had down. So now we're going to check our solutions. I always plugged into the original equation. So let's do 3 first, or actually let's do negative 1. So everywhere I see a, I'm going to put a negative 1. So I have negative 1 plus negative 1 squared minus 5 over negative 1 squared minus 1. It's going to equal to negative 1 squared plus negative 1 plus 2, and then over negative 1 plus 1. Right off the bat, I can see I have negative 1 plus 1 in my denominator. I cannot have that, okay? But let's go ahead and solve all the way through and see if something happens. So this is going to be negative 1 plus 1 minus, here, let's save some time here and do some arithmetic. Negative 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 5 is going to be negative 4. So I have negative 4 over 1 minus 1, that's 0. Right there, I cannot do that. I cannot have a 0 in my denominator. That already makes it a strenuous solution. I can't do that. So I can sit there and say that 1 does not work. Okay, so no, or negative 1 does not work. And then let's use mental math to sit there and see if 3 is right. So then I have 3 plus 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Then equals 9 plus 9 is 18. 19, 20 over 8. Right. I can rewrite this as 3 over 1. Plus reduce that down. 1 over 2. I can pull out a 4 from both of those. This is just going to be equal to 6 plus 1, 7. So I have 7 over 2. And then 3, 6, 9, 8, 5, 10, 15, 20. Let's do this one. I can pull out a 4 out of 20 in those. 20. That's 5 over another 4, 2. Oops, I think I did something wrong here. Let me see. 1. Let me see if I don't reduce it. What do I get? So 8. Sorry, it's always the simple math that gets me. 3 times 8. That's 24. And then 24 and 4. Oh, I think that was a minus down there where I messed up. I messed up somewhere. I know the answer is going to be 3. I messed up somewhere. In the comments below, because I don't have time. Well, let me do it one more time. 3 plus, and then I have 9. 3 squared is 9. Then 9 minus 5 is 4. So that's 4 up top. And then 3 squared. 9 minus 1 is 8. Right, and that was a 3 right here. Plus, so 3 over 1 plus 1 over 2. And then that's going to equal 2 over 6. Yeah, 7 over 2. That side equals 7 over 2. This one, let's see if we get the same thing. 3 squared, 9 plus 3, that's where I messed up, plus 2, that's 14. So that's 14 over 4. That looks better. And then I pull out a 4 from 14, or pull out a 2 from 14, I get 7. And then pull out a 2 from 4, I get 2. There we go. Sorry, it took me a while. Messed up there. So that checks off. This side is equal to this side. So 3 is a solution. Okay, so let's hurry up and do 3B. Solve each inequality algebraically. All right, so for this one, it's fairly simple, except this time we have an inequality. So what we're going to do is cross multiply first. So then I get 2x plus 3. All right. More than 1 times x plus 2 is just x plus 2. I distribute to make sure my 2 hits each and every term. So then I get 2x plus 6 is more than x plus 2. All right, then let's combine these together. I'm going to subtract this x. Over here, I get x, and then I'm going to subtract that 6, and I'll get negative 4. Right, that means all my solutions have to be more than negative 4. Okay, all my x's have to be more than negative 4 to make this inequality true. All right, so if you have any questions or anything, leave them in the comments below. Also, if you want me to do 3A or 2A, B, and D, just put in the comments below. I am, when I get a chance, going to sit there and make a video on graphing these ones. I'm probably only going to do 2 for sake of time. But again, if you want to see the other ones, just let me know. So yeah, if you have any homework questions or would like further tutoring, please subscribe or leave a message in the comments. Thanks, guys.